Hi, my name's Ken Fisher and this is Live Link Training. And today we're going to be making selections by tone and colour, and we're going to be using two amazing tools, the Quick Selection tool and the Magic Wand tool. Now in this video we're going to be looking at making basic selections by tone or colour. Now Photoshop gives us two tools to do this, and these are they. It gives us the Quick Selection tool and the Magic Wand tool. Now we'll start with the Magic Wand tool, and these have both got the keyboard shortcut of W. Now the Magic Wand tool is the oldest tone selection tool in Photoshop really. It's been around for ages. And unlike other selection tools which select pixels by shape or detecting edges, the Magic Wand tool selects pixels based on tone or colour. So what's the magic behind the Magic Wand tool? Well, let's have a look. Here I've got a bit of a gradient that I've put together for you, and it goes from pure black at this side to pure white at that side. Now if you can imagine that Photoshop works by numbers, it loves numbers, it's a number cruncher. So every pixel, it has to have a number. So what Photoshop does is, over here, where it's the purest black pixel, it stamps a number note on it so it can identify it. And right over at this side, if it's a pure white pixel, it stamps the number 256 on it. And then anywhere in the middle, these grey areas, the dark greys and mid greys and light greys, it stamps another number on them. So here it might be, say, 100. But each pixel has a number so Photoshop can identify it. Okay, now two other things up here which are in the tool options bar are tolerance and contiguous. And I want to explain both of those to you in this exercise, because they're not really self-explanatory. They're not good names really, if you like, for tools or for options in tools. Now let's start with tolerance. Okay, so what happens is when I get my cursor there and I left click, what Photoshop does is it looks at the pixel immediately underneath the click, and it reads the number. Now for example that might be, let's say, 100 to make the maths easy. Now the tolerance, it adds the tolerance and subtracts the tolerance to give a range of pixels. So what that means is that if I click now and it reads 100, whatever value's in here, it'll say, well, I'm going to select 100 plus 30, so I'm going to go up to 130, and then I'm going to get 100 minus 30, so I'm going to select 70. So I'm going to select all the pixels that have a pixel brightness value between 70 and 130. So it selects a range of pixels. So let's see that in action. If I just click now, you see I clicked in the middle and it selected, like say, 130 down to 70. But what about down here? I've still got these pixels that are the same as up here, but it's not selected them. Okay, and this is because of a phenomenon called contiguous, and I've got the contiguous box ticked. Now what contiguous means is connected together, basically. Are the pixels connected together? Now when we're working horizontally here, it'll work out and say, well, is this pixel connected to this pixel? Yeah. Is this pixel connected to this pixel? Yeah. And it adds all the ones that are joined together. But then it comes across here and goes, hey, there's a pixel over here and it's the same. But Photoshop says, whoa, hang on, mate, hang on. No, my contiguous is ticked, so that means this pixel is not connected to this pixel, so I can't select it. So that's why none of these pixels down here are selected. So if you wanted all the pixels in the image to be selected that meet the criteria range, then we take the contiguous tick out. So I'll just show you what that does again. So if I go somewhere in the middle here and click, now it selects all the pixels. Now this is important if you were trying to replace a sky, say, and you wanted to delete a sky, but you've got like a tree in it, say, and that tree's got lots of holes where the branches are. Now if you had the contiguous box ticked, it wouldn't go past the branch. It would see a branch, say, here, and it'd go, oh, well, there's some pixels in there. They're the same as me here, but there's a branch it way. And I'm not allowed to because the contiguous box is ticked. So basically you need to know that. So if you've got something where you want it to select every pixel in the image that meets the criteria, then you must have contiguous not ticked. Okay, hope that all made sense. So let's go and see it in action. So we'll go back to my balloon layer, and in the tool options bar I've got my tolerance set to 30. Now contiguous, do I need that setting? Well, if you look here, I've actually got a divider here. I've got something that Photoshop could get up to it and go, oh, I'm not selecting them pixels in there because they're not joined together. And the same, these little pieces in here with these ropes. So no, I do not need contiguous ticked. And then it'll go anywhere in the image where it can find a blue. Now it may select a little bit of this. I hope it doesn't, but let's give it a go. So now I'm going to go anywhere in the image, and I'm just going to click, and that seems to have done a remarkable job. It selected all the blue pixels out of the whole of the image, and obviously these just do not conform to that colour range, luckily. Okay, now I'm going to delete them pixels, but I can't at the moment because I've got a background layer. So I'm going to go and get rid of that. Oops. I'm going to get rid of that and change it into a layer. And then I'm going to hit my backspace or my delete key. Now I don't need that selection, so I'm going to deselect it with Control and D, or Command and D if you're on a Mac. And then I'm going to bring in another sky. Here I've got my little wispy sky, so I'm going to grab my move tool and I'm going to drag it into my balloon layer and drop it in. Now it's a bit smaller, so I'm just going to stick it up in that corner. I'm going to use transform just to transform it, make it a bit bigger so it fills the frame. Double click to accept. Now it's in the wrong place, it's above the balloon layer and I need it below the balloon layer, so I'm just going to click and drag it underneath. And voila, there we are. We've replaced our horrible bluey sky with a nice little bit of a wispy sky, which I like a lot better. And we've done it all by deleting the existing sky that we had with the Magic Wand tool. Okay, now let's have a look at the Quick Selection tool. I'll have a look at another image for this. Now the Quick Selection tool was first introduced. It's a much later tool in Photoshop CS3. Now it's somewhat similar to the Magic Wand tool in that it does select pixels based on tone and colour. But the Quick Selection tool goes far beyond the Magic Wand's fairly limited capabilities by also looking for similar textures and shapes in an image, which makes it great at detecting edges as well. And unlike the Magic Wand, where we click on an area and hope for the best to a lot of the time, the Quick Selection tool works more like a brush, allowing us to select areas by simply painting over them. Now it does use the Magic Wand tool engine, so for the selecting tone and colours part, you need to appreciate this. So like say for instance, whatever tolerance value you set in the Magic Wand tool also applies in the Quick Selection tool. So let's give it a go. Now I'm not drawing, so I'm not going to be trying to draw around the edges of here. So I'm going to start up at this corner. I'm going to try and remove this sky. So if I click and just hold my mouse down, you'll see that it's made an initial selection. Now if I start dragging down, say, what it's doing is analysing and it's trying to pick out all the areas that match the tolerance value, and it's also looking for edges. Now when I get a little bit further down, something weird will happen and it goes pow. So it's now automatically on its own selected all that. It's gone up to that edge. So now I'll just go further up here and I'll just push on. I'm basically encouraging it to find an edge rather than painting. I'm just encouraging it to find an edge. So as I move that way, you'll see it'll start analysing again. And then I get to a certain point and it'll go ping. Look at that. That selected all that with very little fuss. Okay, with a little bit of refining we might want to do if we're really keen on getting all these hairs in there. But other than that, that's made a pretty good selection. And I can now go, say I want to get rid of my background again. And then backspace or delete. Control and D for deselect. And that's a pretty good selection and that background's gone. Okay, so that's making selections by tone or colour using the magic wand or the quick selection tools. I hope it was useful. If it was, give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment below the video. If there are any specific topics you'd like to know a little bit more about, please leave me a comment and I'll try my best to help with the video. If you get a minute, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos on Photoshop and Lightroom training. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.